Yo, welcome to Hard Pass. I am your host, Jacques Slade, and we have got a packed show for you today. We're talking the Louis Vuitton Air Force Ones, DeMar DeRozen getting his flowers, the StockX NFT debacle, and more. So, let's get it going. Let's start with some hot takes. Dwayne Wade triggered the Jordan Defense Force this week during a podcast appearance where he, and I'm paraphrasing here, said that younger generations will eventually forget about Michael Jordan the same way we've already forgotten about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the Laker legend who many considered was the GOAT before MJ. Thank you for your service, Dwayne Wade. The JDF is going to be real happy with you for that one. They don't forget. They never forget. Don't worry, MJ fans. He's my GOAT too, and I'm sure someone is going to come up with a Jumpman cryptocurrency soon that I'm sure will last forever. Crypto.com, sponsor of the arena of my 17-time world champion Los Angeles Lakers, who are still hovering around 500 and just benched Russell Westbrook in the fourth quarter of a tight game, froze withdrawals after announcing that $15 million worth of Ethereum had been lost. But despite evidence to the contrary, Crypto.com is denying they were hacked and that everybody's funds were safe, which Gizmodo is posting means we were hacked and we're covering everybody's losses. Have fun with that, crypto fans. I got no beef with y'all. I just want Staples Center back. The first full Moon Knight trailer dropped this week, and it's Marvel's latest attempt to make one of their C-list characters more popular than everybody in the DCEU not named Batman. And you know what? It's probably gonna happen. Not because the trailer was promising with Poe Dameron playing a darker, more brooding MCU hero with multiple personalities. Nope, it's the memes. I was introduced to the Moon Knight comic memes, and man, I missed out. If you don't get the Dracula, you big nerd in this show, I'm gonna be so disappointed. We'll talk about this more in a future episode, but Microsoft picking up Activision Blizzard is a big deal in the gaming world, and according to some clickbaity jerk-offs, the Metaverse. Oh, the Metaverse. But what I want to know is, will Crash Bandicoot become the new Xbox mascot? That would be like Scott Hall and Kevin Nash jumping from the WCW type of badness after Crash was the de facto PlayStation mascot of the 90s.
Hey, plumber boy, mustache man, your worst nightmare has arrived. Pack up your stuff.
All right, now, before we get into the StockX NFT of it all, let's go back in time to the summer of 1996. It's the Frank & Sons collectible show in the City of Industry in Southern California. Before its current location, now at former Sam's Club on Gale Avenue, it was in a warehouse on East Walnut Drive. Co-writer, the real one, was a frequent visitor to the show on Wednesdays after school. His dad would give him $20 to spend at the show because, you know, fiscal responsibility and whatnot. $20 sounds sad through a 2022 lens, but that money was no joke in the mid-90s era of NBA trading cards. Whether it was a dozen of cheap NBA hoops packs or a handful of the more premium stuff like Upper Deck or Fleer Ultra, or just a pack or two of Topps finest. So one day, he bought a pack of 1996 Upper Deck SPX and pulled his first ever autographed trading card. And it was of Penny Hardaway. Now you kind of see why co-writer is such a huge Penny fan, right? Anyways, the autographed card wasn't actually in the pack. Instead, it was a redemption card that he had to send to Upper Deck in order to actually get the signed Penny. The wait time on the back stated that it would take anywhere between 8 and 10 weeks after September of 1996 for the signed card to arrive. He pulled the redemption sometime between July and August of 1996, so that was a long time to wait. Before he left the show, he had an offer from one of the dealers at the show for $200. Now again, $200, that's a Jordan Retro before taxes in 2022. But in 96, that might as well be $20,000 for a kid. He opted to send the redemption to Upper Deck, and he has the signed Penny card to this day. The redemption card? He can't remember if Upper Deck sent it back or not, but nowadays, unredeemed cards of the Penny and Michael Jordan versions are selling for quite a lot and are technically rarer than the signed versions. So what does that story have to do with StockX NFTs? Well, it's to illustrate that nothing about what they are doing is new. Those NFTs are just digital redemption cards. They're even shaped like cards, but they are just a little more nefarious if you dig deeper into the fine print. This past week, StockX introduced their NFT platforms, which are basically digital redemption cards that you can cash in to get a pair of sneakers pictured. Right now, the selection is limited to some of the most hyped sneakers of the past few years, including the Nike SB Chunky Dunkies, White Oreo Jordans, Adidas Bad Bunnies, and others. Some are limited to 100 NFTs like the Basic Dunks, while the Ama Manri Air Jordan 3 NFT is a one-of-one. The Jordan 3 NFT sold for $5,000 and is currently being offered at $10,000. Meanwhile, the Basic Dunk NFTs have been going for as low as $500 and as high as $3,500. I guess that's reflective of the crypto and NFT markets, but whatever. I don't care about that. What I do care about is how these digital redemption cards are going for so much money when the shoes that they are tied to are worth so much less. For example, the person who paid $3,500 for the basic Dunk NFT now has the option to redeem the NFT for a men's size 10 pair of the real basic Dunk, which, as of this recording, is going for $300 on StockX. That's right. You don't even get to pick what size you want because all of the basic Dunk NFTs are apparently for men's size 10s. One of the selling points, if you can call it that, of these NFTs is the lack of having to do anything other than having a phone and a big bank account. According to StockX, all of the actual sneakers featured in these NFTs are in a climate-controlled, high-security vault. As long as these NFTs keep getting traded, the sneakers never even peep daylight. You no longer have to physically pack up your Dunks and send them to StockX. Conversely, you no longer have to wait for the Dunks to arrive at your house. Take a few pictures of them to brag on social media that you, quote, got them, and then sell them again on the platform. You can just trade NFTs to your heart's content and claim you are the owner of a digital redemption card for a sneaker that is worth anywhere between 3 to 6 times less than a piece of code. Man, can you imagine a sneaker con where nobody brings their IRL sneakers but just shows off their StockX NFTs on their phone? Yeah. And since StockX will potentially offer exclusive releases, invites to events, and other promotions for being the owner of these NFTs, redeeming the NFT for the sneaker is actually the worst thing you can do. In 96 terms, Co-Rider would be scared to, quote, cash in the penny card because any day, Upper Deck could contact him and promise him all sorts of cool stuff that may or may not happen. He can redeem the penny card for that instead, but the penny signature card he is actually owed? Nah. Why bother with that? Because that's the card he actually wants. That's why. Anyway, now, if you dig deeper into the operation, you'll see a couple of things that should make you at least have some trepidation about jumping in at the moment. The NFTs are exclusively on StockX platforms, so you can't show it off on other platforms in the metaverse, whatever the that means. You also don't actually own these NFTs. You own a license to have them, which is different, and at StockX's discretion, they can take that license away or just kill the whole operation at a whim. Think of it like buying a digital copy of NBA 2K22. You paid $70 for that game, but you don't actually own that game. You own a license to play that game. As long as that platform you have it on stays running, you can download, delete, and re-download the game as many times as you wish. But there might come a time years down the road when they decide to just strip you of the ability to re-download that game. Though, if platform holders like Microsoft and Sony are serious about preserving game libraries, both physical and digital, it can be decades or maybe even never. But then you will have forgotten about 2K22. But if you do care and you don't have it in your hard drive and they pull the kill switch, too bad. StockX, based on the legalese, has a similar protocol in place where they can, at their discretion, just take away your license to own your NFT. And that's a little concerning. Here's the thing. StockX could have done everything we mentioned in this segment without NFTs. Topps had people buying and selling physical trading cards that were stored in the vault in the early 2000s. Goat offers sneakers that were already pre-verified and ready to ship to you instead of having to wait for the seller to send them to the platform to get verified before it gets to you. Like I said earlier, nothing about what StockX is doing is new. It's just got a shiny new coat of NFT paint, and because they use that tech, that's going to attract a lot more eyeballs and money to the operation. Too bad for them, it's also up the scrutiny as well. It's totally possible StockX can fix a lot of the concerns that the community has for sure. But for right now, I'd have my doubts about putting my money into this, but that's just my opinion. What about you? Are you going to buy a sneaker NFT from StockX? And what do you think about the program? It's the Heat Check, where we bring you all the faves that are dropping this week. We have the Nike LeBron 19 Christmas on the 26th for $200. The Nocta Nike Hot Step Air Terra White, that's going to be on the 27th. Adidas Gill Zero Hibachi on the 27th for $140. And the Nike Dunk High Basic on the 27th for $115. And then for our pick of the week, it's the Virgil Abloh Louis Vuitton Nike Air Force One monogram auction, which begins on the 26th and ends on February 8th. So Here's what we know so far about this slightly confusing drop. On January 26th, Sotheby's will be auctioning off 200 pairs of the, quote, monogram Louis Vuitton Nike Air Force One. The number of pairs for each size is uneven, with the median size from 8 to 11 getting anywhere between 9 to 28 made, while the biggest and smallest sizes are, quote, allegedly one-of-ones. I say allegedly because, dozens of celebrities and NBA guys are miraculously going to have legit pairs on their feet by this summer. The starting price is $2,000 and it ends on February 8th. According to the listing, the sneakers are being made as we speak and will ship in the first half of 2022. Proceeds from the sale will benefit the Virgil Abloh Postmodern Scholarship Fund in support of Black fashion students. While Sotheby's expects pairs to sell for, between $5,000 and $15,000, if the StockX kerfuffle has proven anything, it's that people will pay anything for the flex. Each pair from this auction will also include an orange LV case, and, I might know a thing or two about that. Now, you've also probably seen a number of friends and family associates of the late Virgil Abloh receive different colorways of the sneaker. Those will remain exclusive and never drop at retail. However, following the auction, Louis Vuitton will offer up additional pairs to be sold at their retail location, but details for those are scarce at the moment. But before you line up at South Coast Plaza or the Rodeo Drive location, just keep in mind that LV could keep this as a private matter so as not to create mass hysteria at their stores and only offer these to their top clientele via exclusive invites. Not sure how many Hard Pass viewers are Supreme clientele, shout out to Ghostface, but if you are, and you got a +1, you know how to reach me. All right, now for a heat check on my man, Compton's own DeMar DeRozen. Lately, we've been talking about athletes that deserve signature shoes, most notably Ja Morant. He's young, wildly athletic, and appears to be on the verge of becoming a player good enough to win an MVP someday. Well, you could have said the same thing about DeMar DeRozan a decade ago. After Chris Bosh left for the Miami Heat in 2010, the Toronto Raptors became DeRozan and Kyle Lowry's team, keeping the North relevant and leading them to the playoffs numerous times. Sure, their championship intentions kept running into a problem called prime LeBron James, but DeMar and Kyle kept the six rolling. I don't think Drake latches on to the Raptors the way he does if the duo isn't around, and the team definitely doesn't eventually trade for a star of Kawhi Leonard's pedigree that leads them to a championship if DeRozan wasn't as good as he was. And he did it all in Kobe's. Well, he did it mostly in Kobe's. He wore Jordan Retros early in his career, and one time he caught shit for it from the Mamba himself.
If you played against a person, you wouldn't wear their shoes, right? We play in the Lakers in Toronto. So I wore some Jordan 10s. As soon as he walked on the court, he was mad as a mother, bro. Bro, he said, this what you on? Like, that's what you doing?
Anyways, after a few solid but ultimately nondescript years in San Antonio, DeMar signed with the Chicago Bulls, and it is in the midst of a career resurgence, leading them Bulls to the top spot in the Eastern Conference as of this recording. He was the talk of the league a few weeks ago when he hit a pair of game-winning buzzer beaters, adding fuel to the MVP discussion that he so rightly deserves to be in. Kobe 11s on one night, Kobe 4 Pro Tros the other. That speaks to not only the depth of DeMar's collection, but his admiration of the Black Mamba. He was always the first to rock the new Kobes when Bryant was still in the league, and he was handpicked by Mamba to carry the torch after retirement. Now, could that Kobe AD era had been the moment when Nike should have gone all in with Kobe and started a spin-off label similar to Jordan Brand? Hindsight says absolutely. And if there was one player who deserved to get his signature Kobe sneaker, it would be DeMar. But that's not how things worked out. And with no news that the Bryant estate and Nike are inching closer to a reconciliation, looks like we're going to see DeMar get his flowers while rocking never-before-seen PEs of Kobe 4, 5, and 6 Pro Tros. And while I don't see a problem with that, I still wonder what could have been for DeMar and a hypothetical Kobe brand with Nike. The moral? Let's not waste time with Ja Morant, Nike. Do what's right. Cut bait with the signature shoe line that ain't working and promote Ja to that spot. But those are my thoughts. Who do you think deserves a new signature sneaker right now? Which player? Let me know down in the comments. All right. It's time for this week's Hard Pass, where we take a look at something in the culture that just needs to go. Like the Metaverse. Not because of the concept of the Metaverse, which we already talked about in length here on the show, but because of the constant barrage of news about it when there's really nothing to talk about. The most annoying example was during the news of the Microsoft purchase of Activision Blizzard. There was plenty of news and revelations and speculation from that sale to fuel a whole week cycle, and the gaming world will be talking about it until the sale becomes final in 2023. And yet, the Metaverse still managed to rear its, as of right now, nebulous head into the conversation. Why? Clickbait, baby. The New York Times, the paper of record as the olds like to say, threw in a Metaverse mention in their tweet about the acquisition. Now you're probably thinking, Microsoft is going to put Captain Price in the next Doom game and Tony Hawk is going to give you a skateboard equipped with a Pip-Boy and Fallout Pro Skater. But no, if you read the article, the Metaverse part of the story is hardly relevant. Thrown in there to get Wall Street all worked up, fulfill some sick desire for SEO relevance, and for people like me to dunk on the story on multiple platforms, amplifying its reach. In other words, mission accomplished, New York Times. And it's not just the Times. I saw so many outlets, many that I trust and even more that I would just as soon see burned to the ground, play up the Metaverse aspect of this story. Even though Xbox big boss Phil Spencer was all like, well, whatever the Metaverse will be there, I guess, but yo, check out Game Pass. Same, Phil, same. Whatever the Metaverse will be there. Same goes for crypto, NFTs, virtual reality, augmented reality, and everything that's gonna happen inside the cloud. Whatever the final form of all these digital worlds will become, will be there. I'm just tired of people trying to get there as soon as possible. Just take your time. But that's my thoughts. What do you guys think? And that's going to do it for the show. Thank you for watching Hard Pass. I am Jacques Slade. I'll see you next week, but not before we leave you with the Hard Pass viewer. That's right. We put out a call last week for the fans to leave a Hard Pass, and here's one from Tony.
Hi, my name is Tony, and this is my Hard Pass. I think the negativity and divide between OG and newer sneakerheads is what I think should be passed on. I mean, everyone gets their start somewhere, and sorry, I don't feel that Jordans are the be-all and end-all. Everyone can appreciate sneakers from a different era, and I really feel like it's up to everyone to be better and all of us to promote the community that we say that we are part of, and it'll make everything better. So, again, my name is Tony, and that's my Hard Pass. Thank you.
Thank you for your Hard Pass, Tony. If you want to send us your Hard Pass for the week, the number is 818-493-9325. Leave a short message, your socials if you want, no more than 30 seconds, and you might be featured in a future episode. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.